Okay, here we are at Sandal, Huddersfield. I'm going to do a video diary of living with the BMW i3. We're going to take it for the weekend, see what it can do, and just find out bits and pieces about it. So really looking forward to this. It's going to be very interesting. First time to drive an electric car. Right, so it's through here, and it's 10 to 4 on Friday. So this is the first time I'm going to have a look at the car in its flesh. And we are into the little handover area. Right, I've just been handed the key. Very, very futuristic looking key. That looks great, does that? So far I can see the standard BMW button, which will be the lock, and the unlock side.
Charging cable and also your inflation kit.
Okay, I'm with Gary, who's going to take me around the car, and a bit of extra space, I suppose, if you wanted to pop something in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite handy. Very neat and tidy, I must say. Looking good. Very firm click. One thing you think of it being carbon fibre, that it might all feel a little bit light.
Yeah.
That was definitely firm.
Yeah, well these,
very good.
A lot of the panels are made out of thermoplastics and aluminium. So these panels are made out of thermoplastics, but you do have an aluminium skin inside to reinforce it.
Right.
So the actual carbon fibre, you can see on the sill.
Down there. Excellent.
The car's got a carbon fibre module, and then the other piece of carbon fibre is the roof,
Up there.
which is second generation carbon fibre.
So a bit of M3 technology there, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so had the walk around. Had a very brief talk, not the normal handover process that you'd get from Sandal BMW, but certainly enough for me to be able to jump in the car and now go and learn and play with it. So far what I see, and I'm not just saying this, but so far what I see is amazing. The quality is superb. This is a very well spec machine as well, standard, but then it's got a few extra gadgets to play with. So let's see if I remember what to do. Getting in's very easy. It reminds me very much of the X1 sort of height, which is probably one of the easiest cars to get in and out of. Things like switches and all sorts. So first of all, it's start stop, and there's a bing and the warming of the light there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull away and go around the car park like this. Obviously I'm not going to film driving like this until later, and I've got somebody else that can actually film the driving, but just to have a go around the car park, we're going to have a little whirl. Right, foot is completely on, and this is the first time I've driven the BMW i3. Foot's on the brake. We're in drive mode there, which is selected, and we're going to lift off, and there's no movement at all. Now obviously if you lift off on an automatic gearbox, it starts to engage straight away and roll, so how interesting that is. So very touching, lightly the pedal, no noise whatsoever, and off we're going to go around the car park. Just so, ooh, yes, no braking there at all. Foot off the accelerator. That is very interesting. Foot off the accelerator, and it instantly comes to a halt as if you're braking. Now that is a very unusual new sensation, is that. So I'll go around down here. It certainly is interesting. Saying I'm doing 9 miles an hour. We watch these pedestrians. Now that's one thing I think you've got to take into consideration. They will not hear you coming. Right, I've got home after quite an amazing drive, and it really is very, very different as this. But this is cool. Just, apart from my daughter, but look at that. That's so cool.
Ow.
I've got the blue colour, so I'm just going to go pick my lad up from yes, and it changes to white. And I'm just going to pick my lad up from Rebel and come home and then put it to bed and charge her. Yeah. Okay, right, we picked Mason up from Rebel, and he's going to be our cameraman for the journey home. So I started the car. I have to go through this checklist because it's so new and so quiet. Is this?
Dad just showed us in the way.
Don't you
Please
worry
move.
about that. Right. here we go. So start the car, mirror, signal, and manoeuvre. Oh, I've got to go into drive. That's
well, careful. Don't go over the speed limit.
So, off we go.
Dad, you're going a bit wonky with the camera.
No, well, don't worry, the camera's going to bounce around a little bit. Okay, well, we're nearly home now, and obviously going to put this car to bed and to charge. And quite interestingly, just up here on the left is a petrol station that I usually stop off at quite regular, which in this car means that I don't have to. Obviously I've got the extender that we can do, but looking at the range of this is the ideal commuting car for me completely. So, very convenient petrol station that I might add. Here we are at home. All I need to do is drive straight into the garage, plug the car in, and everything will be ready for tomorrow. Learning all sorts of bits and pieces about where to go in. Now what I just love this light system here. How cool is that? So we remove that cap and we plug that in, and you heard it change, and it's flashing. That's brilliant. So that's it, as easy as that. Right, it's Saturday morning, we're off up to IKEA in the i3. It's been on charge overnight, so we're just going to have a look and just see what sort of battery life we got charging. So, just press the start button and then ignition switched on. Hopefully that'll come on in a minute. Telling me there's a service not due yet. So let's, there we go. So it's saying 78 miles on the battery from charging overnight. Now that's obviously taken into account the way it was driven yesterday, which wasn't particularly light-footed, I must say. It was very enjoyable. It's so quiet. And what you seem to notice is more of the ambient noises that are outside. Obviously we've not got the radio on, which is normal, but if you drive your car with the radio off, you certainly do hear a lot more noise than you will do in this. But it's the way that the noise from outside you can hear is very interesting. Okay, so here we are on the motorway, cruising along very nicely at 70. Active cruise control's on, which is my first experience of active cruise control. So obviously when you're behind another car, it slows you down to the speed that's there. So you can see I'm not touching anything. It's now down to 65, keeping that safe distance away from the car in front. I was using it last night in the traffic. It was sensational, bringing you to a complete stop. Right, so we've left IKEA and a few other shops, and we're going to head back home. Well, it's a cold and frosty Sunday morning, and we are going to go off shopping again today. My daughter needs some school clothes. I do like this car, I really do, and I'm not just saying that, it is sensational. I was excited about it, but didn't quite realise just how usable this car is. What I'm going to do is just talk a little bit about it, a little bit what I've found about it, what I like about it. I'm not going to go into too much technical detail because we've got staff at Sandal that will more than be happy to help you out with the technical sides. But it's more about the practicality of this car. Which I found this morning was on the actual home charging station that plugs in. It all coils up very nicely, so you can actually take it with you if you were going to go to some friends or family and stay overnight. And we just sat inside now. I just want to talk about the inside. I love the interior. It is very, very futuristic, a real departure from your standard dashboards. The two screens are sensational, especially with a bigger optional professional navigation that we've got in this particular car. It just is so easy to see and read, and very, very clear and precise. Whether or not you're using the Bluetooth that comes standard or the satellite navigation, all is very, very intuitive. We have got the new type of iDrive control that's got the touch sensitive control pad on the top, but the quality and the finishing is absolutely, well, it's BMW, so it's what you've come to expect from BMW, and it certainly lives up. Quite interestingly, because I'm used to all the different BMWs, but the indicator sticks and the controls we're using, the wipers, they do feel very, very different, and there's a real solid feel to them. Here she goes, without any hassle at all. But it is a very, very clever design of door structure. And then the carbon fibre life shell at the top then gives it the rigidity that it needs. So there we go, and into the back. There she is. As easy as that. Right, I did mention that it was a very cold and frosty morning this morning. So I've jumped in the car, and all I've done is reverse the car out of the garage. But of course, a normal standard heater would take the heat from the engine. This car doesn't have an engine to heat up. So the lovely thing is we're on 28 degrees there, and it's instantly warm, which is hot. This car has heated seats as well, so you know, just the fact that the car doesn't have to warm up, or you don't have to start the car to let it warm up before you jump in it on a cold frosty morning. Oh, a lovely little touch. And just on the way back now to the dealership to hand the car back. As I've mentioned before, it is well worth having a test drive of this astonishing new car. It really is a different experience, and the good thing is that whilst it's so much fun to drive and enjoyable, it is, and it's one thing I've not talked about, the environmental side. It is environmentally friendly. Obviously we're not burning any fossil fuels here apart from what's been to create the electricity. It just is, it just works really, really well.